Have you ever found yourself searching for your voice or wondering what it really means to express who you are and what that actually looks like when you start to step into it?
It was at that point where they decide if they want to put you on antidepressants and, anxiety medication, all that stuff, because I could barely get out of bed. And it wasn't, I blame nobody. It was all of it combined.
Yeah.
It was so much. And because I was at that point, I found songwriting. And it was really a journal for me. It's 2 a.m. when I'm just with my music and just me. Everything comes out. You guys listen to my music know more than anybody in my life. People told me that it's given them one more day.
It makes your heart sing.
There is no right way to do any of this. It's art. It's creative. It's expression. I want my music to meet you where you're at. And that's what I say to people. I'm like, I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your race. I don't care about your age. If my message resonates with you, I want it to connect with you in the way that you need.
Welcome to another episode of the Starter Girlz Podcast, where girls isn't about gender, it's about grit. We celebrate the dreamers, the builders, and the difference makers bold enough to start. I'm your host, Jennifer Loehding, and wherever you are tuning in today, we are so glad to have you. So here we are, another awesome episode. It's a Friday today, and we're recording, which is unusual for me to do a recording on Friday, but hey, it's Friday. It's a good day. And I'm going to open up with this. So my guest today is someone who's been creating and writing music from a young age, continuing to grow into her voice over time, using songwriting as a way to express what's real. So today we are joined by True Istina, an American singer, songwriter known for her emotionally honest and empowering music. And so I just want to say welcome to the show, True. We are so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This can be so much fun. And you have such
can't
a great personality. I can already tell.
I hope I get to show it then.
So you think, well, when your mom came on yesterday, it was so funny because I was reading her intro and I was this was like really going, she's got so much stuff there, right? And so I can see her over there. She's just like totally into all of this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such an awesome, I could just tell already, this is going to be a fun episode. We got to the end of it and I couldn't even hardly talk. I was so hoarse, but it was so interesting because I told her, I was like, oh my gosh, when I got done, I was so glad I met her. Like seriously, so glad that I met her because it was such a feel good episode. You know what I mean? Like just a empowerment kind of episode. And every once in a while I get those. It's like where you get the chills when you're talking to someone. So I have a feeling we're gonna have some fun conversation here too.
Maybe.
Right? Okay. So let's talk about some good stuff here because you are young. And here's the cool thing. Like every once in a while I get somebody on here that's young, that's kind of doing the things. And I love it because it's a different perspective, right? Like it's through a different set of lens. And so you have been an artist like for a while now. So I want you to back us up. I want you to tell us when all this started and what brought you to this. Like, did you just come out of the womb singing and doing the things, or did you just kind of work into this?
Oh, so where we started. Well, funny enough, I just turned 21 like
I
a
know.
week ago.
Yeah, I know. Your mom told me.
Insane. Literally insane. And I feel like it never happened. So now it has. But I started singing when I was around, I think 2 years old was the first time that I was told I was singing. And
My goodness.
the first story I remember ever being told was that I was sitting in the corner and humming like the entire song of Amazing Grace just in the corner to myself before I could even talk.
Oh my goodness.
Like just humming it.
Yeah.
I'm like, so maybe music was like my first language. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been.
I grew up around music. I loved it. We were always that family and household who would sing and, go Christmas caroling and, sing at the elderly shelters and stuff. So I loved it so much. It was always something I grew up around. It was something that was part of me. Music was always a big part of my life. I was a competitive dancer growing up and I was in, plays and everything. Like anything related to the arts, I was in. I absolutely was that kid. So I loved music growing up. And then as I got older, I got into acting around 9 or 10 years old. I went to World Championships of Performing Arts, which is here in California. And it was my first time in California at 9 years old. And it was amazing. There was like 50 different countries that competed, and I met so many people from around the world, and I was so young, but it was so much fun. I sang on these big stages, bigger than I'd ever been in from my small town in Illinois. So it was so incredible to be able to perform like that at such a young age, and I loved it. And I'm like, oh, I think this is it. I think this is me. So right. It was like that was that moment for me. And I loved the music after that. And I still continued to do it even when I went back to Illinois. But I'm like, there's something more. And that's why when I turned, I think almost 11, it was the month before I turned 11, we came out to California for pilot season. And we were going to come for just a month. That was it. It was supposed to be just a month. And we booked 3 different things, and I had to stay an extra month. And then I got an agent and a manager, and they're like, you got to come back out. I'm like, okay. And then I came back out, and I met my music manager when I came back out to LA. And that just, oh my God, it opened so many doors, honestly. And it was pretty amazing how it just kind of snowballed. But music was always something that I was a singer. I was always a singer. I was a dancer. I was, an actress, but never a songwriter. That was different. That part of me came later. And that was something like, I remember writing like little songs on like my gateway computer when I was like 8 years old. But it was never anything that was like serious. It was never anything that was like, legit songs or anything. They were just for fun. Like I was young. But when I got older, I think right around COVID, because my school shut down, I was in home, I was doing school from home, everything. And it was a lot of anxiety, pressure, everything. And I had a lot of family issues at that time. And it got really difficult to handle. And I was struggling big time. I was at that point where they decide like if they want to put you on antidepressants and, anxiety medication, all that stuff, because I could barely get out of bed. And it wasn't, I blame nobody. It was all of it combines. It was so much. And because I was at that point, I found songwriting. And it was really a journal for me. Even to this day, I say that like my songs are my journal. Like they're the stuff that I can't just tell people when they ask like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't say it into words. But then, 2 a.m, when I'm just with my music and just me, everything comes out. I'm like, oh, that's how I was feeling today. Because that is just the way, I don't know if that's the way my brain works, if that's just the way I process things. But like I said, music was such a big part of my life that I think it became the only way I could express myself. Sure. And so when I turned 15, I got in the studio and recorded my first album, which is crazy. That's like 6 years ago now. But I recorded my first album, and it was songs I'd fully written. And I released it that next year. And it's been a crazy journey since then.
Wow. Well, first of all, I will say I have a 21-year-old. That's my youngest. And it's so funny because I'm listening to you, and he's a singer. Oh my gosh, he loves to sing. It's so funny because as growing up, like I played piano and I loved to dance. I never did like you. I didn't do competitive, but I was a dancer for a long time. And of course, when I got into high school, I did drill team but I want to say a couple things about all this because first of all, let me back up to my son because you'll find this cute. And he'll probably beat me up for telling this on here, but when he was little in preschool, and even to this day, as a 21-year-old, he still sings. Like he will sing. He's always singing. So, and I'm like, not everybody's singers in here, but he loves to sing. When he was in preschool, he would go into school. And back then, probably remember Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl was popular. You guys are the same age. So when he was little, he would sing that song in preschool. And it was the funniest thing because he went to a little like Montessori type preschool where he was really the only boy in the classroom. And all the little girls liked him. The teacher used to tell me all the time. We still joke about this today. She's like, I can still hear him singing I Kissed a Girl. Like it was the funniest thing. And so like he's still, I don't know if he's singing that song, but he is still singing songs today. So I guess what I want to say about that whole singing thing is that like, I think sometimes kids just come out of the womb. They're just sort of kind of born doing that. And that's their thing. They love to sing. Like I love to dance, but also to your point about this whole thing, like when I was on this cruise, for 10 days. I don't know if you've been on a cruise, but they have these artists, like they have all these musicians come in, and it was so interesting to me because there were 2 different performers that went on stage, and both of them I could tell, like all of them I saw this, but the one was a solo singer, the one was a group singer, and I could just tell that these people were, like, lighting up when they were doing their work, like, I could just tell, and at the end of the thing, they made, like, comments to the audience at one point about how it's not about the money. I mean, obviously, yes, we do these things because we gotta make money, right? But they were basically saying that they do this because they really truly enjoy doing this, and it was so crazy to me because when I was sitting in that audience, I actually could feel that, like, I could understand that, and the reason I say that is because as a creator, we're all creators in our own ways, really. We all find our creative way to express ourselves. Some of us more so. You get to do it through your music. I do it through podcasting. That's my creative space. And so as a creator, it's like I told my husband the other day, I said, I love it when I get on these conversations with people like you guys that are creators because I can get it. Like I'm not doing what you do, but I can totally get that whole drive and love to create because I will not lie, podcasting is a full-time job sometimes, and if I did not love it, I would not do it, I will tell you that, but I really absolutely love the creative space of it. So, I wanna tell you just kudos to you because I think it's such a great fun thing to be able to do to find your passion and to have been able to hone in on it at a very young age and be able to pursue that and do it. It's a cool thing. It's like I told your mom, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm so grateful that like I get to do this as my career. Like it's insane. If you told me years ago this was gonna be my life, I'd be like, no way. Nope, nope. I'm
Yeah,
gonna take the normal college path, have a 9 to 5 job, everything's gonna be normal. Like there's no way that I would be doing this. And like this is
right.
my life, which is
This is
so
your normal, though.
crazy.
It's your normal.
Yes,
You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
your normal.
I know what and I'm really grateful for it, honestly, because I love what I do and I love sharing my music, my messages, and it's so important to me. And like the whole reason I started writing was the journal, but I released them because I wanted other people to hear those messages that helped me out of such a dark place. That's what
Yeah, yeah.
started this whole thing for me. Like me as a singer, yeah, I've always been a singer, but me as a songwriter, like my purpose is to literally give people messages of hope or understanding or help them feel like they have a community and they're not the only one feeling that way because I think we've all
Mhm.
felt like that.
Yes, yes, and that's what's beautiful about is you find a way and I was when you made that comment, even about the not being able to express the words, but put it through music, and I think it's funny because I think that's how we are as creators. It's like I'm essentially, you and I are doing the same thing, but we have different mediums. Like, my whole podcast is about spreading hope. And really, it was birthed out of my own journey dealing with some things that I had to go through that made me want to find a way to help other people and inspire people. So it's interesting how those things surface up, but they come out in whatever medium we choose to put that through, and sometimes, like, I could have this conversation, I might not be able to tell you the same thing that I might be able to get a person on, and we have this dialogue. It's like talking like when I was telling you when I was talking to your mom, is like, she's telling me her story, and I'm like, we have completely different stories, but as somebody I told her yesterday, I shared with her, as somebody who has had to deal with 2 rare health conditions, one that's actually labeled a suicide disease because it's that painful. Although I could not ever say like I told her, I would never pretend to know what she's going through, but I could actually feel her pain because I know what it's like to go through something hard and have to wake up to that every day and find the happiness and the glory in the day and the silver lining in that, right, every single day. But in the same notion, when I was listening to her talk, I also said that her message, I can absolutely resonate with because that's my message every single day is to live life fully and not just the moments, every day, right? And so it's a beautiful thing that you get to be able to use your voice in a way to spread the things that help you get through those times and share those with other people. And if it happens to be music, that's what it is, right?
Hey, you're here. So, first of all, thanks for tuning in today. And since you're already here, you're probably going to want more of this. So, make sure you check out startergirls.com. That's where you can catch up on any episodes you may have missed, Get signed up for our newsletter so you can stay in the loop on everything we've got going on. And if you're looking to go a little deeper, you can also check out our Starter Girlz Insider community. That's where we take these conversations beyond the podcast with tools, workshops, and real conversation so you can take what you're learning and actually start applying it. So as I always say, head on over to startergirlz.com and do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I won't deny that like it wasn't easy to get where I was or,
Sure.
start releasing my music or any of that. Like right before COVID, I was going down a very different path. I had literally given up on acting, singing, dancing, everything. And I was focused completely on academics. So that's why I say, like, when I say I saw myself in college and getting a 9-to-5 job and stuff like that, that was the original plan. Like, when I got into high school, decided this isn't working. I'm going to focus on something that's more stable. And I did.
Sure.
But then COVID hit and even my mental state got taken down so much that I started doing that not for any purpose, but it led to that. And it was hard to release my music, I'll be honest. It was still, to this day, it's very difficult because I'm like, this is really raw and honest. Like, I'm spilling out everything for all this stuff that I don't even tell other people. Like, you guys listening to my music know more than anybody in my life. Like, it's crazy. But I realized that it helped me so much. I wanted to release that. Like, that was the thing that pushed me so much. And even now, like, there are moments where it's really difficult, especially like with my mom's health and stuff.
Sure.
It's really difficult. And some of my most hopeful songs honestly have come from those places because not only am I trying to give other people hope, I'm trying to give myself and my family and my friends hope for something that we can't control at all. And that's the hardest part. It's not like you can do anything to change anything or the outcome. So it's literally just, you have to be hopeful that it will get better. And this is just a moment before it does.
She said that yesterday about a moment. She talked about that. Like, I'm going to remember that fresh episode. It was so good. We're doing those back to back. I remember it all. But she talked about that, the moment, like this is just a moment, like a hiccup, basically. We were talking about pausing and stuff. But listen, let's talk about this like vulnerability thing, because that, as a creator, this is something I wrestle with too. So in a different medium, right? But it's the same thing. Like, I just told you a story, right? And I do this stuff, and then I go back and go, should I have done that? Should I have said that? But listen, is it not? I mean, you kind of already said this about the connecting with people. Isn't this what people want? They want this raw authenticity, realness about us, right? Like, talk about that a little bit. Tell us what you feel with the people that are listening to your music.
Yeah, well, I think that I still struggle with like, releasing stuff or like being a perfectionist or like, I'm like, I could do this better. I could do this more. I could sing better. Maybe next week I'll release it. I still struggle with that. That's still something that I've dealt with my whole life, is like, not feeling like my music or my art is enough because it wasn't giving the result everyone expected.
Sure.
And it's not even that like I personally want to like be at a certain level or like, need something to go a certain way. It's just like voices in your head. And sometimes they get to you or they become your own voice. And that's definitely something I've struggled with. It's not even, people aren't telling me that, because now that I'm an adult, like, they don't tell me what to do anymore. When I was younger, they did, but it's now become my own voice. It's like their voices have merged with mine. And that's been something I've really struggled with. It's really difficult. But I'm like, I just go back to, I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm not doing this for me. If I did it for me, I probably would be done, because it's really hard when you're basically telling yourself that you shouldn't be doing something that you love and that you care about and that could make a difference just because of how many times you've been told it's wrong.
Yeah. Well, and interesting that you say that, because I just released an episode yesterday, and the gal that I had on the show, she's like an emerging adult specialist. So she works with like 18 to 29-year-olds, basically that bracket. So you got your Gen Z to millennial, which I have all of those kids. And we were actually talking about Gen Z, basically, because I've got two of them. We were talking about how she was saying, like, I'm like, what are the trends? Like, what are you finding out right now? And she's like, that we were talking about being overloaded with all the technology. And the reason I'm telling you this is because she was mentioning, that we get kind of hung up in this idea that we have to follow sort of this path, right? But then you got all this technology and all this stuff going everywhere, coming at you, different angles, And so when you kind of touched upon not the technology part, but you said this like traditional path, right? Like we have this idea that this is the way it needs to be. And I just had this conversation with my husband today. We were talking about Gen Z and how kind of like, like what they focus on. It's a very different kind of idea about like, it's not necessarily a bad way of working, but it's just a different view than say like Gen X, like us. And we work at the same place for 20 years, like work ethic, right? And then Gen Z looks at something and goes, you know what? If I'm not adding value, this ain't conducive to my lifestyle. Like, let's just scratch it. That's how my kids are. But the point I'm trying to make this to you is that, yes, sometimes we have to get off the beaten path, right? And I think so often everything tells us there's so much conflicting information here because you've got on one path all this stuff up here going, do this, do this, do this, do that, do this, do this. But then you got the old wisdom going, follow the traditional path. Making me think the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, right? Follow the traditional path, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I will tell you, fast forward to where I'm at, do what makes your heart sing. Like, listen, do what you got to do. Like, if you got to work a job on the side to bring in money to do the thing you want to do, the passion thing, do it. Do it. But don't sit there and slave at the thing you hate doing forever and ever and ever because you need the money, right? You have to do both. Do what you got to do. Make it work. Because at the end of the day, the thing that is adding value to your life is going to be the thing you remember. It's going to be the thing that changes your life. It's going to be the thing that's going to change everybody else around you. At the end of the day, that's what's going to come down to it. I'm not saying don't be starving yourself. I don't agree with that, but I'm not above saying like, hey, if you've got to do something over here to bring in some cash flow on the side, do that, but find what you enjoy doing. Find what it is. You may have to dig,
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I think that whole path thing it's hard. And I think we all do it. I think we all go through it.
Yeah.
You
I've
know?
said that I have a new song actually that I'm probably going to release. We'll see.
You're going to
But
release it.
Yeah, true. It will be released.
You're
It's
gonna
called
release it.
Own Enemy. And it literally, the song talks about the fact that I've now let those voices get into my head so much that they've become mine. And now I'm the one blocking myself because it's not right or it's not being
Yeah.
done the right way. Or the same thing with the money. Like, that's the hardest thing is like when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, I started thinking more traditionally. I'm like, you know what? We need to survive. That's more important than anything. So I'm like, what can I do to focus on that? But then I go back and forth because then I'm like, but I still love this and I'm still making a difference. And people are asking for music and they're like, we love your
Yes.
messages. It's making a difference in my life. Like, people have told me that it's given them one more day. I'm like,
Yeah.
that
Don't give up on the
is
music.
huge. Yeah, literally.
You
And
just
that's
got to
one
find
thing
the
with
middle.
it.
You might have to find that middle ground for a little while as you're building. And then once you keep building and you keep building and you keep, it's like I talk about this podcast all the time because, and I've said this throughout this show, like I never started this podcast for money. That was never the objective when I started it. It was merely because I enjoyed it. I enjoy these conversations and it was to create impact. But it's so crazy because it's like I will give you just to tell you kind of how things roll around here. 2 days ago, while I was on the cruise, typically I've been doing one episode a week, every one episode. I bumped it up to 2 because we have so many people coming in wanting to be on the show. It's insane. I cannot keep up. While I was on the cruise, I said, we're going to slow it down. I released one on Monday. A week later, I released another one. Yesterday, apparently, I don't know what happened. It was the day before yesterday. Something happened. But in one day alone, I had 20 requests come in for guests trying to be on the show in one day. I can't even, you see what I'm saying? What I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell you is that build just keeps going and it just keeps going. And it freaks me out because I'm like, we're at 38,000 followers in YouTube now. And so now I'm trying to talk to somebody about how do we like get this community, kind of like what you got, get this community actually thriving because I've been so in a building phase for so long, just building. And so I guess my point to this is that don't give up. Don't, because you're doing amazing already. Just figure out what you got to do to keep it going. Figure out what you have to do to keep that happening, even if you have to do a little mix in the middle of something here, but keep that here because you will always, I think, regret giving up the thing that you enjoy.
Yes.
You
And
won't.
I've said, especially with this career, it's like the iceberg. It's like
Mhm.
you see maybe the 10%, the
Right.
90% that has to be built underneath just for you to see that 10% is insane.
Yes.
And that's why, like, I've been trying to remind myself, I'm like, you've done so much more, even though right now, like, I'm building up for the next release. Like, I'm getting ready.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing as much stuff publicly because I'm building
Sure.
everything for the next release. And so I'm like, but you've already done all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, I have, but I totally forgot. Like, just, what is it, 2 months ago? I did my first full show and it was an hour, I think hour 15 or hour 20.
Yep. Cool.
And it was a full show of pre-release of my album, like a first
Wow.
debut, first look for my fans just to see the new album, what's coming out, the new music, see if they like it, everything. And I did the
Yeah.
full show. It was just me and a violinist and my music. And that was it. It was just
I'm
us.
excited. Now
And
you gotta go look at your stuff. I saw
thanks.
your page, but I just got introduced to you, like, yesterday afternoon through your mom, and then I'm like I told your mom, I'm like, "Okay, find your daughter. I need to get her on the show." So then when they contacted me, like, like, this is all but I'm, like, excited. I gotta go find your stuff now. I gotta go listen to your music stuff. I'm excited.
Thank you.
So, because I'm new to this, and my listeners are gonna be new, so tell us a little bit about like, describe your sound. Tell us a little bit about the music. Like, you told us kind of the deepness of the rich of it, but tell us a little bit about the music itself.
Yeah, so my style is very pop alternative. I take a lot of influence from a lot of different, music styles because I grew up on different music styles
Sure.
as well as different instruments. I do a lot of bass with strings. So like even if it's like a
Mm.
full, EDM track or whatever, like I love
Yeah.
adding strings. Like cello
Gotcha.
is my favorite instrument of all times.
Yeah.
But I love adding like those moments because sometimes it's more about the feeling for me than the actual like, track or what genre it is or
Sure.
anything. Like I love creating feelings with my songs and my
Mhm.
most recent ones, which were The Word Is and Feel the Vibe, were definitely something that shows my new style of music. And I co-produce all my own music. I
I
write
love
everything
it.
myself. I
Yeah.
build the music videos with my team. Like, I'm a part of every part of this process, and I love every single part. Like, that's the one thing is I'm so grateful that I get to literally show people who I am as an artist, who I am as a person through my music. Like,
Mhm.
everything is real, authentic. It's me. It's raw.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
very
passing
raw,
it off.
but it's me. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Like, it
love that
really
because
is.
yeah, I can totally get that. I love that. I think it's great because you're involved and that's you. It's your work, it's your brand, it's your name, it's everything, right? It's who you
Yes.
are and you wanna get that message out. I love it. So, and this is awesome. I'm so excited. I wanna hear your stuff now. Well, and I will tell you too, I think it's fun because you're talking about, like, the feeling the music because 'cause I'm kinda good music is good music. Like, there are times, like I'll tell I don't even know, but, I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan. I love Nine Inch Nails. I loved them back in the '90s when I was in, my 20s, when I was your age, and I love them now. So I went to see them. I saw them, like I don't know why I saw them. I saw them probably, like, 10 or 12 years ago, and it's funny too because my kids like Nine Inch Nails, which is so funny. It's funny when you're a mom and your kids like the same bands that you kinda grew up on with, like Smashing Pumpkins and things like that. My kids like that music. And so I went to go see Nine Inch Nails I'm in Dallas, so in Fort Worth in last September. And I can't even describe the music. Like, I don't even really know how to describe it because it's like electronic dance. I know it's electronic, but it's richer than that because the music is it's not like standard music. Like, there's a lot of artistry that goes into the music, and you can just tell it's not just about the lyrics. The lyrics are the shot. It's just the music. So we go to this concert. I couldn't sit down the entire time I'm in this thing. Like, I'm just like I'm in a zone. Like, music, like, whatever it is that you like, if you're a music person, good music is good music, you know what I mean? And for me, a good dance music is good dance music. I love a good beat, rich music, and so anyway, I left out that it was, like, the best, and it was an electronic thing too, so it was, like, a whole experience. It wasn't just about that, that stuff. But I like that you said that because I do think as a person who feels their music I'm not even a musician, but in that way, but, like, I play piano. My daughter was a bassoonist. My oldest taught herself how to play the ukulele. She's also, all of them can sing pretty well, not me. But, I just say as a musician, like, I feel music, and so I can totally resonate with what you're saying when you say that, and see the importance of why you're involved.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the most important thing, and, like, the feeling that I create when I write the songs, like, I want that to translate throughout when I'm releasing it, the music videos, everything. Like, I really do. I'm like, I want you guys to literally be inside my head. Like, honestly,
Sure.
because when I talk about it, it's so much harder to put into words. Like,
Right.
just the music, like, that is the most honest, like, raw version of me. It really is.
Like, just get the cello in the room.
Yep, exactly. I'm like, get the cello and I'll get the mic. I got you.
And then it's going to happen. It's just going to come together once that cello gets in the room. You're just going to be like, get it out there. So how many songs now have you written? Because you've done a lot. Do you know like the full number?
Ooh.
Is there just too many? You're like me. It's like, I've had too many. I couldn't tell you exactly how many episodes I've done.
Well, I've released a full album, which was 11 songs, and now I've released
Okay.
2 singles, and I have a second album coming out this year, which is called The
Wow.
Real, which I'm really
Yeah.
excited about. It's been in the works for a while, and like I said, my last one was released in 2022, so it's been 4 years since I released
Okay.
music. And songs total?
A lot.
250 to 500, I think.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow.
I only have the one album, the 2 singles, but there's a lot more that's just like on phone recordings, in production studios and sessions and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, there's tons.
Impressive.
They're different styles too, because they're different moments where I'm at, or
Yeah.
how I'm feeling, or messages. And that's another thing, is like, I want people to understand the messages of the songs, and that's why this next
Yeah.
album called The Real is about like those real moments. Like, I have songs called White Lies, which is literally about just tell yourself you're okay for one more moment, because it will get better,
Right.
because you can't just stop.
True. I keep thinking as we keep talking about in your head, the voices what was that movie with the little people? I'm like, is it Inside Out? Is that the movie?
Yeah,
You know what
Inside
I'm
Out is
talking
one of them.
about? One with the little voices, they're the little characters. Because we keep talking. That's what, and I know I took my kids to see that. I took somebody to see that at one point, I'm sure. But I keep thinking about those little voices in our heads, like when you keep saying that. And it's so true, because you do, you have to have something larger than you when you're doing a project like that. Because yes, if you just focus on you'll keep bowing out. Like, and if you think about, hey, I will tell you, when I was in Mary Kay, one of the things I used to struggle with is that I was introverted and I was shy. Imagine that. And people were like, there's no way. I'm like, oh, yes. And so the very awful combination to have, to be introverted and shy, because you don't want to be around people and then you're kind of shy too. Now I'm just like, I'm a weird, like, I'm an ambivert, but not shy, if that makes sense. Anyways, and so where's I going with this about that? Oh, when I was in Mary Kay, something I heard, she used to always say that being shy was actually kind of being selfish, because you're holding in your gifts. Like, you're not releasing your stuff, like whatever you have. And so I kind of just always remember that every time I start to do that little voice where I go, nobody wants to hear this, or just stop it, don't do it, don't do it. I just remember, you have something that somebody may want to hear,
Yeah.
and it's not my job to decide if you want to hear that or not. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so I've always kind of kept that in the back of my head when I start to kind of get scared and want to bow out and be like, don't do it,
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I'm definitely an introvert and I'm working on it. Like, I think
Yeah.
that I've said this before, like, the version of me who's like, because my real name's Grace, and like, that version of me
Pretty name,
is,
by the way.
thank you, my mom named me.
I
Actually
figured that.
named me, I think she named me after Amazing Grace, because it was my Baba's favorite song.
Ah,
But that version of me is very different than, like, the songwriter version of me. Like, this
Sure.
kind of stuff I could talk about so easily. Music, like, it just makes sense to me. Like, I could talk about this
Right.
for hours. But, like, the real version of me, or like the real life every day, is so different. Like, I keep to myself. I'm very introverted and stuff. So I honestly have tried to combine the two. Like, that is literally
Yeah.
what I feel like I've become now, is like, I say I'm creating confidence, because I'm kind of merging them and making them into one, because one version of me is like, this is how you really feel. But it's like, if I don't attach like the real life version, I'm not nervous, I'm not afraid of people judging me, because it's not really me. But then the other version of me is still like super introverted and stuff. So like, I'm trying to meet in the middle of myself.
I love it. Yeah, no, and I can feel you, girl, because I get it. Like, I'm the same way. I get it. The part of me that's off is I'm the same person, but it gives me kind of this sort of, like, it can be over here and then it can be over here. Do you know what I mean? And like, and if somebody attacks,
depends
say,
on the
like
day.
Starter Girlz, yeah, if they go after Starter Girlz, I'm like, okay, so what? I don't care. That's not Jennifer. Jennifer was over there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Even though you see my name, it says Jennifer, like there.
You're like,
But I will tell you the beauty, like the more you do this stuff, it's like, every day, like I tell people when they're like, afraid of like talking, like public speaking is like the number one big thing people are scared of, right? Like you've got this down, you're doing it, girl. But that's a fear for a lot of people. And every time people worry about that, here's what I say. You're getting up and doing what most people will never do in their lifetime. So you're already
yes.
ahead of the game. And so if anybody criticizes you, so what? Right? Like they're probably not even doing it, And so I just always kind of remember these things and I do think it gets the more you do it, the less you worry about like your people are your people. They love what you're doing and they're gonna follow you and they're gonna be your fans. And there's always gonna be the people that just look at you and go, I don't like you because who you are, Oh well,
Exactly.
right? That's what I
Yeah,
say.
especially now. I'm kind of glad I have haters. It's a weird thing to say, but like, I'm kind
Yeah,
of glad I am because I'm like, okay, well, that means people are actually getting my music. That means enough
exactly.
people have heard it where someone can make an opinion and decide they hate it or don't like it or it's not their cup of tea, which
Yeah.
good because I keep saying I'm like, my music is not going to be for everyone. It's not. And that's just the truth. And I'm okay with that. And not every song is going to be for everyone. Some people are going to like more of the upbeat stuff. More people are like the, messages or the more deep stuff, like the emotional. And I'm like, not
Yeah.
everyone wants that. And I say, I want my music to meet you where you're at. And that's what I say to
Yeah.
people. I'm like, I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your race. I don't care about your age. I like, if my message resonates with you, I want it to connect with you in the way that you need. I don't want to tell you the way it should connect. I want you to connect to the music in the way you need.
Exactly, and that's beautiful, and it's the way it should be, right? Like, it's like that's most of us, I think, that are creators, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to put the messages out there, but let you find the way that they connect, and some of them will and some of them won't. It's kinda the same thing, like, when I bring people on here, I always say like, I love everybody that comes on this show. I don't always agree with every single thing everybody says, and that's okay. My job is not to tell you how to think. My job is just to put great conversations out there just to allow people to see, one, that there are amazing people doing amazing things, but also to offer input and hopefully, encourage people to explore. Do you know what I mean? Find their own reasoning and the voices that come through in these conversations, because if they always heard from me, one person talking all the time, it'd just be my opinions about everything, my content, which is fine, but I'd be very, I think it would just be like it's an echo chamber, right? It's an echo chamber, and I don't want that. I want people to be able to find what they need out of all this stuff that goes out there. So I love what you're doing. And so what I'd love to ask you though, because you kind of mentioned early on, we talk about like the challenges because a lot of these people that are listening I mean, there may be some people out there that are in the creative space, but let's be honest. I feel like this is kind of a few, right? Like the creators, it's bold to do that. Not a lot of people have that courage. So they're doing they might be entrepreneurs starting something, but some of them may be traditional, going to work 8 to 5. None of these are wrong. These are the paths we choose. But I would love to know as even a young artist, like, when you talk about, like, challenges, like, getting your music out there, like, what were some of the things, like, when you started out you had to do to kinda, like, get over those things? Like, what is that like as a musician and songwriter and singer and all those things?
Yeah, I'll talk about one thing that throughout my career at different times, I've had this same kind of issue or challenge is when I was starting out, and even like more recently too. There have just been times where I was told to just wait. Like,
Mm.
just wait for the right time, wait until this deal drops, wait until this is released, wait till this date, wait till this is done. Like, wait, just wait. And I honestly, I'm not gonna say I regret it because everything's kind of worked out the way it's supposed to,
Sure.
but I wish I had the guts to stand up and ask, like, why do you want me to wait? Like, what does that do? But when I was kind of starting out, I was told these people know more than you in this industry.
Right.
Listen
Right.
to them and don't kind of argue because you don't know what you're doing yet. And even as like I've learned like, what I'm okay with, what I'm not okay with, what I do, like who I am, the industry, what I do know, because I've realized like people come up to me and ask me questions about the industry, and I actually do know a lot.
You
Like
do know
I
something. Yeah.
understand the
Right.
industry pretty well, and of course I'm still learning, like
Sure.
always. But I wish that I had just told myself, like, trust yourself. Like, if you feel this is right, do it. If you feel this is, you, or this is the right timing, do it. Don't just wait around, because another thing I always say is life happens.
Sure.
And it basically just saying that, tomorrow you don't know what's going to happen. So you wait because someone tells you to. You may not get the chance to do that, or you may not get the chance to release that song or that opportunity or go
Sure.
perform there, any of that. Like, I've had some amazing opportunities. Like I said, I just did a full show, and I performed in Vegas, and I performed in Croatia, and I'm grateful for every single one.
Yeah.
But there's just been times where people have just told me, just wait. I'm like, what am I waiting for? Oh, this might go through. That's a big thing. You hear might, maybe, and could.
You're like, make it happen. Just make it happen. Those words would drive me crazy too. I'd be like, maybe? What is that? What? I don't do maybe. Like, are we
I'm
ever
like,
gonna-
so what do I do with that? Like, do I go? Do I stop? Like, constantly. And that's one thing, is like, being in this industry for as long as I have, even though I'm so young, I've learned that like I now trust myself, and I trust my team, and I trust what we're doing. And I'm like, even if it doesn't happen on whoever that person's time is, it's going to happen on the right timing or on my timing. And I'm going to keep going. And then I've always said, I'm like, I am not against anyone being on my team. I'm not against anyone joining. Like, join the bandwagon. Come on, get on the bandwagon. Like, literally. And like, I want everybody who's been a part of my career to like, build with me and build this out. But there's just times where I'm like, I'm not just going to wait around for the right timing, because we don't have forever. We don't have a million hours. We don't have a million days. We don't hopefully have tomorrow. We're not promised tomorrow. And so I would rather get stuff out there and make a difference than just leave it sitting on my computer.
You know what? And the thing with this is so interesting, because I think if just listening to just that part of this whole clip, I feel like you just gave me the whole like overall arching message of this whole episode, which is interesting because I feel like your mom's is kind of the same overarching message, this whole idea of living in the moment and not waiting, right? And so she talked about trusting your gut, which is a lot of what I talk about too, because I think that is, again, those voices tell us not to trust our gut and to trust everybody else. And I do think, if somebody's walked in those shoes, that we can take advice from them. But I do think that if your gut is telling you, now I'm going to say this as a caveat, because I don't want anybody to go do something stupid that's listening to this episode. Don't do something dumb, right? But if your gut is telling you to put something out into the world, release it in a healthy manner, right? Like what you're doing, music, whatever that is. How do we really even know if waiting is the right answer? You know what I mean? How do we can't control everything in life. We just really can't control everything. And I think with creative pursuits, you sort of got to kind of intuitively, I mean, if you ask a creative person, most creative people are intuitive, right? They're intuitive thinkers. They're going with their gut on a lot of levels. So somebody coming to us and telling us to wait, we're going to be like, dude, like, I'm putting it out there. I'm like, it feels good, it's going, right? And if it doesn't feel good, it ain't going, right? And so it's hard to explain that to somebody that, basically uses the other side of their brain all the time, and they're not in that same intuitive landscape, right? And so I think, yes, we have to get really good at using both sides, know when the logic needs to come in, know when the creative needs to come into our space. But I'm with you. I think sometimes you just got to roll with it. And so if the message here is, I think what you said could really apply to any sector of business, is that if you need to put something out, stop freaking perfecting it. Stop waiting for everything to line up. Stop waiting for everybody to tell you when is the right time. Put it in the world. Get it out there. If it flops, it flops. You learn something. You'll fix it. Move on.
Exactly. And since I started at such a young age, I was just told, you have time. You have time. You have time. You have time. It's okay. You can wait. You have time. And now I'm 21. They're like, you don't have any more time. I'm like, what just happened? What? You went from me being like, oh, you have a million years. You got time. We can wait whenever. We can do whenever. And now it's like, no, you have no more time. I'm like, that should have told me, like, first and foremost, that this entire time I should just been trusting myself and been honest about it and everything, because they kept saying you have time and now you don't all of a sudden, like, but I still have time. Like,
You do.
it's insane. It's the way that music industry and, like, you know, the arts are and stuff. I'm like,
Sure.
why are there limits? Like, music is music, art is art, creative is creative. Like,
Right.
that's what it comes down to, is everybody is creative and learning too, which makes their art even better as they get older.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you, and I think that it is. It's the creative space is a really, I think, a tough. I don't know what I'm trying to say, like a mindset warp or something, right? Because it's like you just want to be
It's
creative. You
different
want,
than the rest of the world,
yeah,
honestly.
you want
It's
to
a
do
different
what you
career.
enjoy. Yeah, and you want to do what you enjoy doing. You just want to, but there's that other part, like you have to know the business side of things, right? And we just want to create. We just want to create and have impact, right? And you got to know that other side, and that's where it gets into, because the people up here that are this, they don't quite get this part, right? And so there's this, you got to do it this way. You got to do it like this. You got to have it this way, and we're over here like, excuse me, yeah, that's cool and all. We like that over there. Help us figure that out. But we don't want to be so rigid that we got to be on this side. And so that's why I said it's almost like you got to find that middle ground. And I think a lot of that just comes, I think it's like everything you do in life, it just comes with the learning, right? It's just going through and figuring this didn't work, this did. What do I need to change? But I like it. You're been around enough now that you're figuring things out. And by the time you're like, oh my gosh, if you keep doing this, by the time you're in your 40s, you're going to have it all figured out, girl. You're going to be like, this is what you need to do. Just go with your gut.
I know, honestly, 'cause especially now, I'm just going with it. I'm like, there is no right or wrong way, especially in this industry. And everyone
Sure.
who tells you there's a right way to do something, there really isn't. Like, people are
Yeah.
changing, trends are changing. You know, what's normal is changing constantly. So it's like there
Yeah.
is no right way to do any of this. It's art. Like, it's creative, it's expression. It's like people
Yeah.
just putting out something that wants to help another person. And you
Right.
might do that today, whether, it's the right time or not. Like, there is
Yeah.
no right time. There really isn't. It's what feels right to you.
I love it. Well, thank you. That's awesome. Okay. So this is going to be a fun question. You're going to love this because this is going to be like the big picture. So, like, where do you see, like, how do you see this evolving for you? Like, do you have another we got the album coming out, but like, let's just say maybe 5 years from now, wait, because you're going to be like, now 26, you're going to be going closer. I mean, you're so young. I love it. What do you see? What does this look like for you?
This question's always so hard for me because I see a million.
I think
different
it's hard
paths
for
me.
everybody, really, right? It's hard for everybody. But I think the question I'm trying to get you to do here, and this is why I think it could be fun, is like, like when you're really little, you kind of have these ideas of like what you want to be when you grow up, right? And then as we age, it gets harder to see how we see ourselves, right? So I think this more like, do you like see this at more albums coming out, like bigger star, like your music evolving? Like, what does this look like for you?
I mean, for me, just a little taste. I have the next 4 albums planned out.
Oh my goodness, you got it. You are awesome.
I
love
do.
it.
Like, everything
I
is
love
just like ready to go. I'm ready to
Flowing
go.
for you. It's just flowing. I love it.
Yeah, it's just like figuring out logistics because I'm like, I got everything ready. I'm like, this is who I am. This is my art. This is my style. Like, I even have my entire tour planned out, like stage design, everything. Like,
You've done it.
all of
You've
it.
done it. You've already done some of this. You've already done it. See?
Exactly. And that's why I feel like even with the upcoming stuff, like this upcoming album, I'm so excited to show people this new side of me because I have grown, I have changed. And I was young when I released my first album. I was 14, 15, or 13 when I wrote those songs. And so now I know that me as a person, I've changed. My songwriting style's changed. My music's changed. It's deeper. I've been through more. So it's been impacted in my music. And I hope that I can, of course, tour the world or anything, but just share it with as many people as possible around the world. Like, that's always been a dream of mine, is to share it with everybody or anyone who needs it and not be limited to one country or one spot or whatever. Like, just have anybody who needs it be able to reach my music. So I guess touring in a way. And then also the fact that I honestly want a label. I want a music label.
That would be fun. You gave me chills, and I'm not even
That's
a
a dream
musician,
of
but how
mine.
cool would that be for you, right?
Yeah, it's a dream of mine because I I know what it feels like to start out and feel like you don't know where to go or,
Yeah.
how to get there or like how to build yourself or, what rooms you need to be in or anything. Or, it's crazy. I talk about like being 21 so exciting or whatever. It's not
Sure.
because I'm going to go drinking or
Right.
partying or anything. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. But
Sure.
just because of the fact I've been told no so many times because I was under 21 to perform. And it's crazy.
Ooh,
It's something people don't
okay.
think about.
Yeah, I would not have known that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
cool.
that's why it was such a big deal when I turned 21 because now I have that freedom to perform more.
Sure.
But that's something I'm like, I want with the labels. I want to help other artists, figure themselves out, build their own brands, figure out who their music is, who their audience is, like what they want to do with it. Like, I want people who genuinely love music and love what they do. And I want to give them that opportunity to figure out exactly what they need for themselves. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, give them that support. Like, I want to give other artists that support.
Sure. That's good. Okay. So back to your label, getting the label. Do you have a plan of action? Like you got this ironed out, like how this is what rooms you need to be in or how this is good. I know nothing about this industry. So and you probably can't tell us all we don't need to know all the secrets, but for us people who are not privy to that, like it's a new thing. And so like do you kind of have a plan of action how you're gonna make all this work out for you?
I do actually.
I
Crazy
figured you
enough.
did. That's why
I do, yeah. Especially with this label. Like, this is something I've been thinking about since I was back in high school. And I'm like, I don't know how it's going to happen. If it's going to happen before my music, after my music. I don't
that's
know.
gonna happen. It's coming.
Exactly. And I'm like,
Well,
I knew that this is something I truly wanted because I'm like, me as an artist, like starting out, even as, an independent artist, I've learned so much that it takes behind the scenes that people don't think about when you don't have a huge team. You
sure.
have so many things that you have to, get in order. So
Right.
that's something like with this label is I want to build these artists to get all the support they need so they can just be honest and real and release music that they love and do what they love and bring like music to the industry that is truly them. Like, that's something that's so important to me because I know with my music, I found like who I am through it.
I love it, girl. Well, I want to ask you kind of, I guess, maybe some fun stuff because you mentioned early on, like influencers. I'd love to, like, who are some of your favorite artists that you feel like have kind of influenced your work?
Ooh, favorite artist. Okay. I have a really rough music style and, favorites and
Cool.
stuff.
I'm the
'Cause
same way.
I grew up on Whitney. I grew up on Celine. I grew up on all those incredible
All
singers.
good singers, yes.
Through my mom, of course. But I also, I grew up with Carrie Underwood. I loved Carrie Underwood growing up. I had all her albums. For my 8th birthday, I actually got like VIP and got to go to her concert.
Oh, plus.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
She's an amazing singer, amazing storyteller,
awesome.
amazing performer. I'm like, that's what I strive for on stage. Like, the stage, she commanded it. Even at 8 years
Yeah.
old, like, I still remember it. And like, that's
awesome.
something that I strive for with my music. And then singing wise, like, I love Pentatonics. I love their harmonies. I'm a harmonies
Yeah, I
girl.
like them too.
I started harmonizing at such a young age, just naturally. Like, it wasn't something I was taught. It wasn't something that, I was, in a class for or anything. It was just something that just happens. Like, I can just harmonize and I love
Yeah, I'm
'cause it
excited.
adds so much
I need to
depth.
go listen to your music. I'm so excited.
I know.
That is awesome. Well, it's so funny. My son plays Whitney Houston too. Every now and then we'll get the rounds because he'll get hung up on an album or like, of course we don't have albums anymore, but he'll get hung up on a certain thing. So every once in a while we'll go through a whole round and like I'm hearing Whitney for a while. I'll be hearing it over and over.
I love that. I know. I
Well, the-
love like older music as well. Like, I
Yeah.
really grew up on like 60s, 70s, 80s.
Sure.
Like, that was what I grew up on. And then of course,
Right.
like, the more modern stuff I've gotten into. But I love like pop alternative. Like, that's what I say. My music is stemmed from that. I love songs that have that depth and just make you feel it. Those ones that you're like, hold on a second. I need a minute. I need a minute to get my heart
Yeah.
beating again. Like, those songs, I'm like, those are the ones I'm
Yeah.
just like, I want that in my music.
That's fun. Well, I know you've gotten to do a little bit of traveling with your music, so I'm curious to know, like, and it doesn't have to necessarily pertain to your music, but maybe like your favorite place that you visited, anywhere like that's kind of has kind of like sticks out in your mind that you remember the best.
Well, I'm a little biased. My Baba and Nona, my grandparents are from Croatia.
Okay.
So I love Croatia and Ilovik. And it's just my second home away from home. I've been there most summers, and I love it there. I really do. Like cooking with my baba and, coloring and playing cards at night, and, going down in the town, seeing all the kids play by the church,
Fun.
and then getting slotto-led because, yes, chef's kiss is the best. But
Yeah.
I love there because it's just so different. It really is. Like, there's no
Yeah.
cars in the island. It's 5 by 5 miles, tiny.
Really?
Yes, it's so tiny, but it's like everybody knows everyone, and if you do not say hi, then you're rude. Like here,
Ooh.
people
Yeah.
are like, if you say hi, they're like, what do you want? Like,
Right,
don't talk to
right.
me. But yeah, if you don't say hi, they're like, oh, that person is so rude. They snuffed me.
Isn't that funny
Like,
how
what?
cultures? Yeah, it's so funny. We were in, we went to, I told you before we started, we went on a cruise and we went to, I'm in Texas, so we went to Mexico, Cozumel, and then we, of course, we went to Belize and Honduras. And it was so interesting to me when you see the cultures in like, and these aren't very far, but yeah, Central America, different cultures. And you realize that no matter where you go, I've said this, I put a clip out recently about how universally we're all really the same. The cultures have these little nuanced things that are very different, but the people are really kind of the same in a lot of ways. And you'll go there and they have the same things, the needs and wants and things that they do. And like we had this tour driver when we were in Belize that took us from the port all the way down to, I don't know, this like mountain thing. And we got to go tubing in the mountain. And he was the best tour guide. And I'm like, here we are in Central America and Belize, where things are just like you're looking for like familiarity, right? And I'm like, they've got like stop signs and stoplights here, and the tour guide's cool, because we don't see these cultures because we're kind of in our little echo chambers, as I mentioned earlier, right? We get in our echo chambers. And so when you visit these other places, you realize they're kind of like us. I mean, and they're not all that different. They just do few different things than we do here. Like in
Yes.
there, I'd have cars on the island. Be like, this is kind of cool. Nobody has a car.
Yeah, we have gumanyaks, which is basic
Love it.
taxi boats. 'Cause
Yeah.
we don't have taxis.
I know. I thought it was so cool in the different places we went. So like we're in one place and they're driving in Belize. They're driving on the other side of the road. I think it was Belize or on the other side of the road because I think that's still a British. Then we go over here and they're driving on the other side, and I'm like, and then I'd see some American cars in there that had the steering columns on the right side, but they're on the opposite side of the road. And I'm laughing. I'm like, so they had an American car imported here because everybody's got the steering wheels on the other side. Funny things in different parts of the world, but it's cool. So, well, you are doing amazing things, and I am happy for you. And I'm definitely going to check when I get off here. I'm going to go find, I found your mom's. I got your mom's, all her socials in my feed. Now I'm going to go find you so I can check out your work and listen to some of your music. But for our listeners that are tuning into this episode, where do you want to send us? Give us websites, socials, all the things so we can make sure we get them in there and they'll know how to find you.
Yes. So it's just True Istina, TrueIstina, on all platforms, either trueistina.official, I think on my TikTok, on my Instagram. And then for YouTube, it's just True Istina. Spotify is just True Istina. And then trueistina.com for my website, which has all my updates and everything coming out very soon.
I love it. And I want to ask you a fun question. How did you
Yes.
come up with the name for yourself, like the stage name? How'd this come about?
Yeah, well, I knew when I
when-
started writing songs that's why I say the songwriting part of me is so different, that this was
Yeah.
something that was so, authentic, but also raw and scary. Honestly, it was so scary.
Yeah,
to
well, I
try
like
to
the true because
think
I
of
can
it.
see that part. Yeah.
So I thought of the fact that my baba was actually the first person other than my mom who really supported my music. And she came to California with us the first time we came here, and she actually paid for my first song to be recorded.
Wow.
And so I was so grateful to her for everything. So I chose the word Istina, which is Croatian for truth, as well as I'm so inspired by my baba Nono, who literally are immigrants from Croatia, and then they came here to the US. So that's why.
Very cool. I love it. Well, I'm glad I asked you that, because it's always fun when you kind of think of why do people come up, like derive the, but I liked it when I saw your name. I was like, I like this. And your mom had told me a little bit yesterday about some of your work. And so I'm like, okay, I see how it makes sense. All comes together.
Yeah, it
So
means true truth.
yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I want to tell you thank you for coming on here and having conversation with me and sharing your story with us and all the stuff. And I want to wish you like continued success. Keep doing your thing and, keep plugging forward. And I'm going to be excited to, like I said, I'm going to check out your work now, but it's going to be fun to kind of watch you as this keeps unfolding and, where you travel to and what you do with your work and the impact that you make. So we're going to be cheering for you over here.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. And I'm so excited for everything that's been happening. And I know it's been such a journey already, but we're just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. So very cool. Very cool. Well, of course, we want to say to our audience, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Hope that you found it both inspiring and informative. And of course, follow True Istina and her work. And as we always say here, make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe so we can keep sharing all of these stories and supporting all of our fabulous guests that come on the show. And so, as I always say, in order to live the extraordinary, you must start. And every start begins with a what? Decision. You guys take care, be safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you next time.